Hey auditors! Welcome back to Voicey Tales. Today, we are going to revisit a real life incident that shook the world. Today, we are going to talk about the Hello Kitty murder case. This is a real life incident that took place in Hong Kong. Various websites and news agencies have various informations regarding this case. I have collected all the relevant informations and molded it together in a presentable way. Auditors are requested not to draw any unnecessary and absurd conclusions. This story can be mentally disturbing to some people. So if you have a weak heart or cannot bear brutalities, then please skip this video or watch at your own risk. In May 1999, a 14-year-old girl went to a police station in Hong Kong to share her problem. She told that she was being haunted by a female ghost who was tortured to death. The police brushed her off, thinking that it was just a nonsensical nightmare of a random teenager. However, the police investigated it when the girl revealed that she herself had played a role in the lady's murder. It turned out that her dreams were very much realistic. They found a skull of a lady inside an oversized Hello Kitty doll. That's how the name Hello Kitty murder case came into existence. Fun Man Yi was very lonely in her childhood. Her parents had abandoned her and she grew up in an orphanage. At the age of 16, Fun Man Yi had to support herself. She started committing petty crimes and taking drugs. Later on, she became a drug addict and also took up prostitution to pay for herself. In 1997, when she was 23 years old, she worked as a nightclub hostess in Hong Kong. Her clients were undoubtedly dangerous men. One day, Man-yi was attending a 34-year-old man named Chan Man-lok, who was a drug dealer. Man-yi decided to steal Man-lok's wallet but was caught red-handed. He demanded a lump sum amount of compensation from her. She agreed reluctantly but requested him to give her some time to pay him back. Man-yi had no intention of paying back Man-lok. She was penniless and decided to flee. But she was caught in the act. Then, she was kidnapped by Man-lok and his two friends. 3 of them were members of a triad that did illegal stuffs. 34-year-old Chan Man-lok headed the triad. 27-year-old Liu Shing Cho and 21-year-old Liu Wai Lun were the other members of the triad. The triad kidnapped Man-yi and took her to an old, rundown, unfurnished, dingy and dark apartment. Man-lok wanted his compensation by hook or by crook. He wanted to get compensated via money or via services. Chan Man-lok set up a mini brothel with Fun Man-yi as the only hostess there. Her job was to entertain the triad, their friends and other clients until the triad felt compensated. Remember the 14-year-old girl who had registered the police complaint? Well, she was just 13 when all this took place. Her identity is well protected by the law, so we do not know much about her. All we know is she was Chan Man-lok's girlfriend. This teenager witnessed every torture that Man-yi had endured for over a month. The kind of tortures that Man-yi endured were so terrifying. Man-yi was constantly raped by different men. Things went worse when the triad started beating her with anything they had that included utensils, knives and so on. Man-yi became their human punching bag. They enjoyed torturing her, and this became their habit. When they got bored with beating her, they started burning her skin bit by bit. They burned her hands and feet and wounded her brutally in all possible ways. They were so cruel that they stuffed dirt, food, and spices on her open wounds. This daily torture made her very weak and scarred. Her clients did not find her attractive anymore, so they stopped coming to the brothel. This infuriated the triad as they were unable to earn any more using her. So they decided to torture her even more, just for fun. Funman E became very weak. She was wounded and starved. Money could barely move. Every day she was tortured in a different way. The triad used to suspend her in the air and then beat her for self-satisfaction. They kept torturing her ruthlessly for a month. Then one day, Money finally succumbed to her injuries. The triad and the teenage girl found her lying dead in the washroom. Everyone was shocked. They did not see this coming. The triad panicked. Now they had a dead body in their apartment, and they were in a hurry to dispose it of before it gave out a rotten smell. They thought for a while, then Chanman Lok decided that Money's body should be disposed of in multiple pieces to avoid any kind of suspicion. They used knives and other sharp weapons to dismember her body into smaller pieces. They separated her skin and muscles and boiled them off. The killers were so brutal that they boiled her body parts and cooked food on the same stove simultaneously. They also cooked in the same utensils in which they used to boil Money's flesh. This is literally so disgusting. They stuffed her bones and skull in a big Hello Kitty doll and put her organs in the refrigerator. By mistake or in confusion, the men dumped some organs in the trash can that remained in the neighborhood for days and gave out a bad smell. Some people reported it to the police, but it was discharged as a common sanitary issue due to the negligence of dumping trucks. After this horrendous incidents, the teenage girl voluntarily became a legal witness and lodged a complaint against the triad, as apparently she was being haunted by Funman E's ghost. This case was very complex. It was hard for the police to investigate as most of Money's body was disposed of or chopped into pieces. Only her skull, one tooth, and some internal organs were found. But there were two sides of the story. The first side was what Chanman Lok's 14-year-old girlfriend told the police. That is what we have heard till now. But the men had a different story. According to them, they did not torture or kill Funman E. They said that she was already dead when they disposed of her body. The triad agreed that they were indeed running a brothel with Funman E as the only worker there. But she did everything willingly. They denied kidnapping her and said that everything had happened with Funman E's consent. They further added that Money's death was due to drug overdose, and they disposed her dead body just to save themselves, their brothel, and their business. After a 6 weeks long trial, the three men were convicted, not of murder but of manslaughter. The jury said that the remains of Money were not sufficient enough to show whether she was murdered or she had died due to drug overdose. The two sidekicks put the entire blame on Chanman Lok and said that they were forced by Man Lok to do whatever they had done. The underage girlfriend testified for manslaughter at the trial in exchange for immunity. Her identity is still well protected. The jury believed that, though they had caused her death, death was not the intent. The trio was sentenced to imprisonment with the possibility of parole in 20 years. Later in 2012, the apartment building, which was the crime spot, was demolished. Then it was rebuilt into a hotel in 2016. Maybe they are free now. Maybe they did not kidnap her. Maybe they did not torture her. Maybe she really died due to drug overdose. Maybe whatever the men said was absolutely true. But amidst these maybes, we cannot ignore what they had done to her dead body. The men were completely brutal and remorseless. Hong Kong had never seen a case this cruel, violent, and brutal. That was it for today. Hit the like button if you wish to know about more cases like this. Comment down if you have any particular suggestion and subscribe if you are new to this channel.